All right. Well, we've got on line one Warren Ringham. We know him as the Enableizer from Cue the Music Show.
Oh
How are we doing
no.
today, Warren?
Oh, I'm never going to live that down, am I?
It's
You
yeah, we
better
should get the
explain the
t-shirts.
concepts. Yeah.
Well, before I do, Rob, you're still there on line two. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Hello. Yeah, good.
Oh, good. Well, Warren, thanks for taking time out to talk to us today.
My
How
pleasure.
about you just give us the backstory, please, on the upcoming tour, how it came about, and all the money pennies that we're going to be seeing at one of the events, please.
All the money
All the
pennies.
money pennies.
Yeah. So as people will know, we are back and well and truly in full flight again, having had the great big fanfare of finishing, and people still asking. I thought you'd finished, and we did. We fully intended to call it a day, but Bond fans an amazing bunch. They didn't want us to stop yet, and I think we came out of the last show going, do you know what? We're not ready to stop now, and the funny thing on that show was that I don't know if I can't remember if you were there as well, Peter, but the the curtain went up early and we were waiting to start the show, and the guy that was operating the curtains put it up 90 seconds early, and the whole place just erupted into a standing ovation before we'd even played a note. And I think we were all on stage just looking at each other going, this is just so incredible.
Oh,
You can't just give up on something like this. It's too when people it means this much to people. We've got to sort of keep it going. So yeah, and here we are, 2 years, 3 years later after that, and we're about to embark on our biggest ever tour, nearly 40 dates all over England, Wales, and Scotland. Um, it's bigger and better than ever. Things are just keep improving. The support keeps growing, and we are, as well as doing all those dates around the country, which is kind of our standard show. So that's all the main theme songs, and then we do a few extra little special items as well that we become known for. But then once a year we have like a really big annual concert where we go with a much bigger, well, orchestra, and we have special guests, and we try and tie in with anniversaries. So, for example, last year we did quite a lot around the Man with the Golden Gun, where we had Britt Ekland and Maud Adams as our special guests.
great, great.
Um, and the year before, we had Octopussy, so we had Christina Wayborn and Tony and David Mayer, the Knife Throwing twins. And so this year, we kind of got quite a few anniversaries, haven't we? We've got Thunderball 60, View
A
to
View
Kill
to a Kill,
40,
Goldeneye.
GoldenEye 30,
Mm, mm.
Spectre 10. And I thought, well, we're never going to get guests to cover all of those, but I just suddenly had a bit of an idea that had never been done before and probably will never happen again, about bringing all of the, bless Lois Maxwell, but bringing all of the surviving or the living money pennies together in one event, which of course covered a couple of the anniversaries as well. Mainly, so obviously Spectre and GoldenEye, but also did something really unique and special in bringing those three money pennies together. And as far as I'm aware, Naomi's not really done anything like this. Certainly no fan events or even comic cons or anything like that. And Sam Bond is a rare appearance as well. She doesn't really do any of these sort of fan events that I've seen, and I'm not sure about comic cons and things, but I haven't seen her at any, or I haven't seen her advertised at any. So it's going to be really interesting to hear them talk, especially when particularly, particularly Naomi and Samantha Bond played such a major role in the films that they were in, or Sam Bond did four films and Naomi's, it's team MI5 or yeah. Now anyway, so yeah, there we go.
So
Nice.
did so like rounding them all up. Was Caroline Bliss involved in that? Because I know that she's good friends with Samantha Bond, isn't she? That's quite well documented. Was she involved in like negotiations and like getting her along?
Because
Was that?
she compares for you at the start of the other concerts
Yeah.
as well, right? So
Yeah,
that's
she does all of the regional ones, and
mm.
then so I spoke to her about it first, and I said, look, I've had this idea. If I can get the other two, would you be on board? And she said, yeah, absolutely. Um, and it was quite funny actually, because I had this situation where I kind of needed to get the other two before I said to her, look, I've got the other two now, will you come and do it? And then once I did get the other two, I then had to go back to her and said, I've got Naomi and Samantha, will you please do it? And she was laughing and sort of said, oh, now you need me, like sort of thing. But No, she didn't. She didn't directly put them. I suppose the contact with Samantha Bond was a little bit of my ace up my sleeve that I would maybe have used if I'd needed to. But the thing is, when you're booking these people, the first thing you have to do is to get the agents to sign off on it anyway. All of these things. It's a professional situation, and it's the same thing. Caroline is someone that I would definitely consider a really good friend now, and I know that's a mutual thing, but we have a friendship, but we also have a professional working relationship, and all of the professional side goes through the agent. So, sometimes I might mention to her and say, "Oh, I've got another gig coming in April," but then I will officially ask her through the agent, and then that goes through that way. And you have to kind of do that. So, likewise, when people will sort of say, "Oh, I know you're in touch with Caroline. Can I have her details? Because I want to bring her on my podcast or whatever." All I end up really ever doing in that situation is saying, "Sure, but here's the agents. You need to go through there," because that would be abusing my friendship with her. Really, it's still a
Sure.
professional relationship. So yeah, to reach out to the agents, and a lot of the time it's quite difficult to even find out who their agents are, and then we are relatively small fry, and we're just a Bond concert, who are you kind of thing. So you've got to then kind of convince them that you are serious about what you're doing and that it's something that they would want to be getting involved in.
Mm,
So,
mm.
Warren, for the money penny gig, what can people expect? The people that have got the pre-show and the after-show tickets, and also the tiered system as well. I know the VVIP tickets are, I think, still available as we talk about
Yeah.
this. So, could you just talk us through those stages?
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Because it's a little bit of a complicated day, because what I've always tried to do with these events is make it like a really day-long event, and in some ways that the day's broken into three parts. So you've got the main concert, that's the main part of the day at the Theatre Royal, which is a 5 o'clock start, and there's a pre-show event which is over the road at the Waldorf Hotel, where there's a Q&A with the Money Pennies. It's going to be extended and different content to what you'll have in the show. It'll be a shorter Q&A during the show where they'll be on stage. But the pre-show one, they're going to be doing a much longer one with the three of them. David Zarisky will be doing the interviews. So you can get tickets for that. And that also included in that, there's lots of extra entertainment there as well. So it's going to run from 1 o'clock in the afternoon through to just before the show starts at 5. And we've got casino tables and slot machines. We've got a magician. We've got some Bond lookalike characters, villains, and Bond himself. Lots of bits and pieces, and you can get obviously food and drink there as well. And then after the show, there's an after-show party, which is back at the Waldorf, and again casino tables as well. Lots of extra entertainment. So yeah, pre-show Q&A with the Money Pennies, main show, which is the concert, which they'll also be there for, and then the after-show party. And then lastly, on your point about the tiered thing, there is like an enhanced VVIP ticket, which because obviously there's a lot of people there and the Money Pennies are really hard to pin down. They're going to be doing the Q&A, and they're going to be doing the concert. The only time you're really going to be able to get to actually speak to them and get an autograph, something like that, is if you have a VVIP ticket, which are quite expensive, but it's limited to 12 people, and I've already sold 7 of those. But during that, you've got your own little private room with a balcony overlooking Covent Garden. You get half an hour with them before the show, and then half an hour at the interval as well. They'll be there, and they're happy to do signings and selfies and what have you, and chat to you and stuff. So 12 people, 3 money pennies. The ratio is very, very good. You're actually going to actually get to spend time talking to them. So it's a really, really exciting ticket, that one.
Nice. Rob, you
Oh,
wanted to come in there.
oh yeah, no, well, it was just going back to Naomi Harris. So as you were saying, she's never done any kind of event like this before. She's never done any fan events. I mean, that was a huge coup when she was announced. So, I mean, I don't know if you know the answer to this. I'm just assuming that she was able to do this now. She's no longer under contract with Eon. Is that why she was able to come, or do we not
Yeah,
know?
I'm not really sure the ins and outs of, I mean, I approached and I laid a very sort of clear plan of what the day entailed, and obviously there was things that had to be negotiated. But yeah, I mean, I would think that because she's not currently engaged with Bond at the moment, I don't know what the actual contractual situation is with her.
No.
I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll be the last person that they would
Yeah.
tell, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming that we're good. You know, she said she'll do it, so I'm assuming it's all good to
Oh,
go.
Well,
it's
we can assume
amazing.
that she's
Like
not
any
coming back.
other, yeah, but I think like any other appearance, I think, you know, these people all do appearances where it's just an interview. You know, it's no different really to her going on to a talk show,
Yeah. Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
radio show. It's
Yeah.
not like she's appearing as Moneypenny. It's just a talk about her time. So it's,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got any more guests in the pipeline for next year? Of anyone maybe like her caliber that none of us have seen or met before?
It's always things in the pipeline. Uh, a lot of people said to me, "I don't know how you're going to top this year." But I always go back to what I said at the we did a show in 2019, the first time we went in the West End, and it was just amazing. Like, it was just a real watershed moment for us. I think we all kind of, you know, it'd been a long journey to get there. And afterwards, where I stored my kit at the time was the same place that Matt, who's the singer and percussionist, stored his percussion. And we just ended up back there at the same time and bumped into each other as we were loading. And we just stood in the corridor just with these great big grins, almost not really saying anything. And he just went, "What a day! I don't know how you're going to top it." And I went, "No." I stood for about a second. I went, "But you know me, I'll have a damn good go." And this applies to this year. And yeah, next year I'm trying to keep it. I can't say anything, but it'll
No,
be,
sure. But
if
that's
it comes
so
off, it's going to be
wow. Okay.
stratospherically amazing.
So it's worth carrying on being friends of Cue the Music. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Keep that direct debit going every month. Absolutely. Cool.
Okay.
Well, you know, but the thing is, though, the support is what makes it, A, what keeps it going, and B, what motivates
Yeah.
us to do it, you know.
Of course, and
And
obviously you can get, then you've got people giving you that support, and then you can obviously get better guests, can't you? And it's great
yeah,
for all of
yeah.
us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that every year's there's so many great anniversaries, and I'm never short of ideas. It's only the support that is needed to bring those to fruition. So, you know, the more people that come and support the show, and if you haven't seen the show before, please come and give it a go. You know, I think you'll find that the vast majority of people out there that have been will tell you that it's something to definitely come and see. And I'm sure there's always going to be some people that disagree with how you do things. That Bond is full of opinions, but come and see the show and give it a whirl, and you never know, you might love it.
Yeah, I've seen it 6 or 7 times now. And yeah, it is. I was just not for six first time I saw it in Aldershot, and I've seen it at Hever Castle. What beautiful venue that was, and in London and Woking, and it just terrific, absolutely terrific. It
Thank
really
you.
is. It's really
Well,
terrific.
Warren, so you got 40 dates, I think you said, 40-ish
Yep.
dates for this tour. What I'm curious, how do you work life around that, like personal life? Do you teach in between? Do you like your any other jobs going on? Do you have any other tribute bands?
No, so I'm just about to complete a 22-year career as a musician in the Royal Air Force. So I've been traveling the world with the RAF as a musician for the last 22 years. It's been a fantastic career. Um, but the great thing is it's given me the security of the wage that I could do cue music for free, really.
Mm.
Which is just as well, because for the first 5 or 10 years that we did it, it just lost so much money. It nearly bankrupted me. But you know, it's been a passion project first and foremost. I've always, like I always say, I'm a Bond fan, the diehard Bond fan first and foremost, and it's just luck and happenstance that my profession has allowed me to fuse it with my passion for Bond and bring together something. The enableizer joke. That's what I said at the West End. I was doing an impassioned last speech, and I mentioned something about, you know, all I've been is the enableizer. I meant obviously say enabler, but but yeah, so I've been really lucky. But yeah, from May this year, I'm out the RAF. I haven't reached my pension point, and I will just be doing this full time. And it's well beyond being a full time job. To do it properly, to do it with the care and passion and love and attention to detail that I try and put into these shows. Um, it really is a full-time job. Last year, between doing my RAF job and doing Cue the Music, I was working 120 hours a week all year, apart from 2 weeks on holiday. So, I'm looking forward to just be able to focus just on this. And my goodness, how lucky am I to be able to do that and just dream up scenarios that I know that Bond fans will like. And just little things like the final West End show that we did, which wasn't the final one, but I had this idea that I've been brewing in my mind for ages, where we do Bond 77 and we do the little cue just before the motorcyclist goes off the cliff, when he's chasing Bond in the Lotus, and you get the missile coming off, and there's a great little sort of 30-40 second cue, which I call All Those Feathers, but I don't know what it's called. It was never released on the soundtrack. But you know the one I mean? It's like
Yeah, I know
bum,
exactly
bum,
the one you
bum,
mean.
bum, 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 bum. And I
Yeah.
thought what would be brilliant is we do that cue, and then we have the explosion, and then I'll come on stage dressed with a motorcycle helmet covered in feathers, like limping on stage as if the motorcyclist has recovered. And then we had this great moment where I said to Caroline Munro, look, will you come on stage and you kind of help me to my spot on the stage, like I'm, like help me over there. And then as you walk off, we start Bond 77, which of course is the music that plays when she's in the helicopter. And then you just turn and give a little wink to the crowd as you come off. And
Right.
of course, everyone in the band didn't get it. I mean, they were all going to me, Warren, you've lost the plot. Like, what do you do? You dressed. I glued like 400 feathers to my spare DJ set, which obviously never recovered after that. And everyone's looking at me up and down, going,
He's
He's
nuts.
gone. He's gone." And I said, "No, you've got to trust me." I said, "Half the audience are going to get this and think it's absolutely brilliant, and the other half will be explained to them by their partners." And it's exactly how it went down. It got such a great laugh. But
Yeah.
it's that sort of thing that I love dreaming up, because if I was just another music producer that was just producing a Bond show, run of the mill thing, throw together 25 songs or whatever the number exactly would be, because obviously there's lots of different ins and outs of that with two and mostly Secret Service, but whatever, just chuck it together like people do, and it's just another revenue stream for a producer or a business or whatever. That's all well and good, but I think that what I think we've done is we've connected with Bond fans and what they want. And I think because at the center of it, obviously I'm just one of them. I understand what it is that I would want to see if I was going to it. And sometimes there's those almost imperceptible nods, things that are so small, like we do little really funny things, like the concert ends with License to Kill, and we hit the last chord, and we sort of hit that long chord, and then we finish with 7 stabs. So I always get the band to go da 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 da, and that's the end of the concert.
There
And
is
I
a key
think,
change, isn't there, in License to Kill? I was
yeah,
having this
yeah,
out with Rob. Rob didn't know there was a key change in License to Kill.
oh yeah. After
Is it after the bridge?
after the
Yeah,
bridge, yeah,
yeah, the C section. Sorry, is it
yeah.
the only Bond song to have a key change?
Do you know what? I've never even thought about it.
See, I think
View
about
to
this
a
all the
Kill
time.
has one. View to a Kill has
Well,
one, doesn't it?
You to a Kill has key changes all the way through. I was going to get onto
Yeah,
that, but sorry,
yeah.
go on.
The verse is one, the chorus is another, and it's got like a real gear shift back into the second verse.
Well,
But
I
it's
was
kind
going to
of
ask you that. It has, so it goes like from C minor, and then it goes to the chorus, which is in E, I believe. So it kind of goes up a major third, and then
yeah.
somehow it goes to that after the chorus. It goes to ding 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 ding. I don't know what it does there, but it goes then back into C. It goes back into
Yeah,
the verse.
it's a real weird key change, but it's kind of covered up by that kind of tearing
Yeah,
sound,
whatever that is, and
Well, it's a good way of covering up the key
That's what
change.
it is. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But musically, I have no idea what that is to get
No.
from one key to another key. But it's not like it's going up a semitone or a tone
Yeah.
like normal key changes do. It's
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
throwing it back to, well, I guess the C from the E. But anyway.
I wonder how much John Barry had involved
Oh
in
yeah.
that.
I don't think Simon Le Bon fought that one up. In
No,
his
no,
wildest
no.
dreams,
No,
he couldn't come up with
no.
that. Sorry, you were
Yeah.
talking
No.
about License to Kill.
No, that was it. So it's just
Yeah.
like finishing the concert with 7 stabs, and it's those little things, and it's obviously it's a nod to the 007 theme as well from John Barry, but it's just little things like that I think is what we do, you know, because we're just passionate about Bond fandom and understanding it, and I think that's why people connect with it, because they kind of see it, and they don't necessarily see every single little detail, but they understand that they're involved in something where there's just so much going on. You almost can't pick it all out, all the details. You just come out of it thinking that felt really authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
we've only got a few minutes left, Rob. We've
Yeah.
only got a few minutes left on the chat, and I just wanted to round up and just ask you a couple of quick fire questions, as it were.
Yes, go for it.
Well, Rob, what did you want to say?
no, it's fine. Go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, sorry, because we've only got a few minutes left. I just wanted to get to a few things. Could there ever be a James Bond musical, and would it be shit? Like, I saw the Joker 2 the other night, and I thought,
Yeah.
actually, this is really weird. It's off the wall. You can't really figure out where it's going or what
Yeah.
it's trying to do, but it was different, and it's something that kind of re-energized. You know, I mean, the story of the Joker and the Bat series has been around for ages, but could James Bond do something like that?
My gut feeling of quick fire. My gut feeling is no. My wish would be no. I think it would be. I think it would just. I don't think it would work. I really don't. I think it would. The thing that I think sometimes people get wrong with Bond and these sorts of things when they're trying to do them, is they try and make it too campy, you know. And I know that Roger Moore's era was a bit kind of humorous and perhaps, you know, campy and stuff, but you know, some of the humor was silly. But I think that generally speaking, every other part of Bond hasn't been that, you know, apart from maybe Diamonds a little bit, but everything else, the early Sean, all the Daniel Craig, the Timothy Dalton, you know, even to a degree, Pierce Brosnan's isn't as silly humor as what Roger Moore is. And I think that if it was a musical, it would just come across as really, really silly and jarring. So no, I don't think it would work, and I don't see it happening. I don't think Ian would ever go there, and Eon are the only ones that could do it.
Yeah, it would be a bit weird him doing like a shoulder roll for a pane of glass, shooting off his gun and then breaking into song. Anyway,
Definitely.
Yeah, just something that I thought of. Oh, I did want to ask, you played Die Another Day in the set? 'Cause
No,
that's
it's the only
probably
one
the
we-
most. Yeah,
It's the only one we don't do. We used to, and everybody, the band, the audience, everyone used to say, "Why do you do that? No one wants to hear it." And actually, by cutting it out, it gave me room to put things in, so we can do things like Bond 77 or Surrender, or we might do if there was a man, or you know, any of those. So we always do like a little special item. And if I did Die Another Day, I'd be really struggling for time, because the concert's already, we start at 7:30 and finish at 10 past 10. It's a long concert.
We're talking about time. We've just come out of, well, we've run out of time, I'm afraid, for this
Oh.
call. Sorry, I've got to upgrade to the Zoom package. Maybe we'll start a Patreon page so that we can someone can pay for these Zoom packages. Rob, thanks for jumping on. Always good to see you.
It's been a pleasure.
Warren, thank you
Thank
for
you.
your time,
Thank you,
buddy.
gents.
Great talking
Pleasure.
to you. cuethemusicshow.com. It's a place
Yeah,
where people
all the
can
dates
go.
are on there.
All the dates are on there. When's the next date coming up? When's it all kick off?
Tour kicks off April the 11th. No, hang on, sorry, that's not right. I think it's the 4th. Yeah, April the 6th. Sorry, Peterborough, and we run through to December. And the big show in the West End is the 11th of October.
Excellent. And
Well,
we can
can't
go.
wait for that.
Yeah, best of
Yeah.
luck with it all, mate. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it. And it was great talking to you. So speak to you soon.
Thank you for watching that video. You know, you can subscribe to Patreon and you get to watch it a month earlier. I don't know why I'm talking like Michael Caine, but you can. Thank you.